Wembanyama and the Spurs are going to come back even stronger next year, but Utah has a secret weapon against them. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel like always. Okay, so Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs got smoked by the New York Knicks, multiple comebacks, and what we saw from these New York Knicks was a little bit of a blueprint on how to beat the San Antonio Spurs. And basically, what you have to do is just bully Victor Wembanyama. You also have to have defensive players on the wing to be able to help with the amount of guards they have in Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle. You're going to have to be able to defend against those guys. But the big thing that you have to have is size against Wembanyama. You've got to be able to move him around. You also have to have shooting on the perimeter to be able to pull him out of the paint. So if your other guards can get to the rim like a Keyonte George, they can score at the rim at will. Well, not at will, but at least easier. And Utah has that in Jaren Jackson Jr. with his shooting from the outside and Lauri Markkanen from his shooting out on the outside. And what else the Jazz also have? What the Jazz also have, is how I should say it, is Walker Kessler has the size to rebound against Victor Wembanyama, and you hope that he can build even more strength to be able to just go toe-to-toe with him and be physical enough with him that it can neutralize a good amount of what he does. You're never going to stop Wembanyama completely, but can you neutralize certain aspects of his game? Can you pull him out of the paint with your three-point shot and things like that? The Utah Jazz have that in Walker Kessler. They definitely have that in Jaren Jackson Jr. And if you don't believe me, if you go to landofbasketball.com, they have a played against each other. So what they do is they just have all the times that certain players have played against each other and what is the win-loss record. And it's really interesting when you go to Walker Kessler against Victor Wembanyama, and they are tied. The Jazz are 3-3 in games where Walker played against Victor Wembanyama. Pretty interesting. Kessler did not have the highest point total because he's going up against Wembanyama, and it's understandably so, but Kessler is not necessarily being called on to be a high points per game guy. 7.3 points per game in those contests, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2.5 blocks in those contests for Walker Kessler. In those games, Victor Wembanyama, 23.2 points, 9.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.3 steals. Nice numbers, but not necessarily MVP numbers. So Walker Kessler in those matchups is doing pretty well. And then Wembanyama still manages to average 5 blocks. I think one of those games he had a triple-double with blocks, I think. I don't know. Wembanyama is crazy. But Walker Kessler, 3-3 against Victor Wembanyama. And now the Jazz have added Jaren Jackson Jr. to play alongside Walker Kessler. And what is the record of Jaren Jackson Jr. versus Victor Wembanyama? Jaren Jackson Jr. is 7-0 against Victor Wembanyama. Incredible. 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2.1 blocks. And we know that Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of his deficiencies is the rebound, but 6 rebounds is about where he's at typically. Victor Wembanyama, 22 points, so the same amount of points, 10.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.3 steals, and 4.6 blocks. By the way, Wembanyama's blocks are crazy. But the fact that they're having more or less similar numbers in those matchups is crazy. And so the fact that you're going to have Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr., Utah will have multiple ways to defend Wembanyama, to go at Wembanyama, to get physical with him, and then allow the other players on the Jazz like Lauri Markkanen, who also will play into this, Keyonte George, Ace Bailey, all the shooting that the Jazz will have. And then you add on either A.J. DeBonsa or Darren Peterson to the mix, and you are going to have the blend of size and shooting and defense and physicality, and also just the ability to adapt to different play styles, because Utah will have Ace Bailey as well that can do a lot of different things. Utah could do small ball lineups, big lineups, rebounding lineups, just complete guard lineups. There's so many different things the Jazz will be able to do this upcoming season. I don't think it's out of the question that the Jazz can win 55 to 60 games next year and be much better than people think. Going from 22 wins to 50 plus is my prediction. I think the Jazz are so much better than what people are giving them credit for. Guys, that's all I got tonight. I thought that was a really fun stat. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the All-Stars, to the new All-Stars, to the current All-Stars, and all the members. Thank you for the support. Things are going really well for the Utah Jazz. The Jazz draft is less than 10 days away. It's going to be exciting. All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next time.